Hi, welcome to part 6 of the Scrappy sweater crochet along. I just got back from my trip to Michigan visiting family and I got everything filmed today. So I am excited for this stitch. This stitch is going to be the cluster V stitch. So I'm gonna go through how to do the cluster V stitch, how we do it across the side, how to handle the corner, around, and how to do the join. So I do 2 rounds in this just because it is a wide stitch and I wanted to stick with like the scrappy vibes, so I didn't want it to take up too much of the sweater. But here we are. Excited to show you how to do this one. So this is where we left off after the griddle stitch, and I just want to review what stitches we've done so far. So we have the neckline, the seed linen stitch, the cross double crochet, the pike stitch, and the griddle stitch. All of these tutorials can be found on my YouTube channel. So for this, we are going to tie in to the 9th stitch from the corner of our previous round. So that's what you see me doing now. Again, the 9th stitch from the corner. And then you're going to insert your hook and pull loop through, and you're going to chain 2. Then you're going to do a double crochet. So yarn over, insert hook, pull a loop through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through the other 2 loops. And that's going to be one of our clusters. Then you're going to chain 1, and we're going to do a double crochet 2 together. So you're going to start like a double crochet and do your first pull through, but you're not going to do your second pull through. You're going to yarn over, insert hook, and pull loop through, pull through 2 loops, and then pull through all 3 loops. So that is our cluster V stitch. Then you're going to skip 2 stitches and then do another double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert hook, pull loop through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull loop through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 3 loops. And then chain 1 and repeat in the same stitch. So yarn over, pull a loop through, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, insert hook, pull loop through, pull through 2 loops, and then pull through the 3 remaining loops. And that is 2 cluster V stitches, and you're going to follow that pattern all the way across. So skip 2 stitches, and then you're going to do your double crochet 2 together. So starts like a double crochet, but you don't do your last pull through. Yarn over, insert hook. You have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. Chain 1, and then repeat again in the same stitch. So yarn over, insert hook, pull loop through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert hook, pull loop through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And there are 3 cluster V stitches. And again, I am just going to skip 2 and keep repeating this all the way across until I get to the corner. So I'm going to do these a little bit more full speed, but the cluster V stitch is double crochet 2 together, chain 1, double crochet 2 together, skip 2, and repeat across. So that is what you're seeing me do here, a little bit more full speed. Here's the important time step if you need to go back to it a little bit slower. So this is what we have so far. I'm going to repeat this across until I get to the corner, so meet me at the corner. So I have 1 more cluster V stitch left, so skip 2 and do the double crochet 2 together. So that's what you see me doing here. And then chain 1 and then double crochet 2 together in that same stitch. So that's my last cluster V stitch, and I have 2 stitches left before I get to my chain 2 space from the previous round. So I'm going to skip those 2 stitches and I'm going to do my double crochet 2 together in that chain 2 space. Here's that important time stamp if you need to go back and see what that is slowed down. And then after that double crochet 2 together, instead of chaining 1, you are going to chain 3 and then do another double crochet 2 together in that same chain 2 space from the previous round that created the corner. And then we're going to go back to our cluster V stitch. So skip 2 and then go back to what we were doing on the other side. So double crochet 2 together, chain 1, and then another double crochet 2 together, skipping 2 stitches between each cluster V stitch. So here we are doing a double crochet 2 together, chain 1, double crochet 2 together. The nice thing for this stitch is a very repetitive pattern. So once you get the hang of it, it should be pretty easy. So this is our one side and one corner done. You can see how the stitch is coming together. I am going to continue along this side, and then I'll meet you at the corner again to go through it one more time. So meet me at the corner. So here we are, one more cluster V stitch before we get to the corner space. So skip 2, double crochet 2 together, chain 1 in the same stitch, double crochet 2 together. Again, I have 2 stitches before the chain 2 space that creates the corner from the previous round. So in that chain 2 space, we're going to do double crochet 2 together. Again, if you need it slowed down, here is the timestamp from the beginning of the video to break it down for you. And then instead of chaining 1, we're chaining 3 to create the corner, and then doing another double crochet 2 together in that chain 2 space that created the corner from the previous round. And then go right back to the pattern. So skip 2 and then do our cluster V stitch. So here I'm doing that cluster V stitch. Remember, between each cluster V stitch you are going to skip 2 and then do the cluster V stitch in the next stitch. So make sure you're doing that when you're working on your sides. And then the only difference is your corners, you're going to have a chain 3 instead of a chain 1 between your double crochets. So I'm going to finish up and meet you at the join. Here's the important timestamps if you need them. Okay, so we made it to the join. So I have one more set of the cluster V stitch to do, so that's what you see me doing here. So chain 1 and then the second double crochet 2 together, and then I have 2 stitches to skip, which is perfect. So to join, I'm just going to insert my hook into that initial chain 2 space and slip stitch to join, and we have one round done. Again, if you've been following along with me, this sweater you can do as many rounds of each stitch as you'd like. I am going to do 2 rounds here. So here we are, how to start round 2. So we are going to be working the cluster V stitches into the chain 1 space. So to start, we need to get in that chain 1 space. So you need to do a slip stitch into the chain 1 space from the previous round. And then we're going to start just like we did last time. So chain 2, and then do a double crochet, and that's going to serve as 1 double crochet together, and we're going to chain 1 and then do a double crochet 2 together, and that's our cluster V stitch. And now we're just going to keep working those cluster V stitches into the chain 1 space from the previous round. So that's what you see me doing here. So just the important thing with rounds 2 plus is that you're working those cluster V stitches into the chain 1 space from the previous round. So you're just seeing me do a couple of those here, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So again, you can see the V's are lining up. So I'm just going to continue the cluster V stitches all the way across, and then I will go over the corner with you one more time. So here we are at the first corner in the second round. Remember, that's our chain 3 space from the previous round. We are just going to do the same exact thing we did in round 1. So double crochet 2 together, and then chain 3 and double crochet 2 together in that same chain 3 space in the corner. One of the things I really love about this stitch, it is very repetitive. So once you finish that corner, you are going to again go back into working into the chain 1 space from the previous round for your cluster V-stitches. So that's what you see me doing here. Again, it is important that you're working into the center of those stitches from the previous round so that the rounds line up nicely for you. So that is corner number 2. I am going to finish this round and meet you at the join again, but here are all the important timestamps for this tutorial. Please make note of them. They're in the caption as well if you do need to go back to anything, but I am going to meet you at the join again. So similar to round 1, I'm going to do that last cluster V stitch into the chain 1 space from the previous round. So double crochet 2 together, chain 1, double crochet 2 together. And then similar to joining the last round, we are just going to insert our hook into that chain 2 space and do a slip stitch. And we are finished with 2 rounds of the cluster V stitch. So I'm just going to cut and secure my end, and then we'll take a closer look at what this stitch looks like completed. So I'm just securing my end here, weaving it in a bit so that it doesn't come undone. Pulling it nice and tight. So here we are finished. I think this might be up there on the list of favorites so far. Let's take a look and see what it looks like on. So here we have it finished. Loving the colors, how they're turning out so far. I'm trying to remember which is my front and which is my side, but here's what it looks like on. We're getting pretty close, at least for me, to like attaching and starting to do the arms and then around the waist. But here's a closer look. And again, so we have the neckline, which was a half double crochet foundation stitch. And then we have the seed, moss, and linen stitch, the crossed double crochet, the pike stitch, the griddle stitch, and now the cluster V stitch, which was this part. If you have any questions, please be sure to drop them below. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're following along, please be sure to do so. And I am dropping my Instagram below if you'd like to follow me there as well.